There we were, my crew and I, finally taking a much-needed lunch break in the shade of a big oak tree after grinding for 5 straight hours in the blazing 90 heat. We made excellent progress on Karen's backyard patio renovation, despite her hovering, nitpicking, and micromanaging us all morning. Just as I unwrapped my sandwich, the sliding glass door slammed open with such force I thought the glass might explode. "What do you think you're doing?" Karen shrieked, her face already turning that familiar shade of crimson we come to recognize over the past week. "You don't get to stop working whenever you feel like it. Union breaks don't apply here. This is my property, and I need this finished today." I calmly explained that labor laws and our contract guaranteed my team a 30-minute lunch break after more than 5 consecutive hours. She didn't want to hear it. "I don't care what your ridiculous contract says," she spat with contempt. "I'm the HOA president, and I know the rules better than anyone. Get back to work immediately, or I'll have your licenses pulled so fast your heads will spin." When none of us moved, her eyes went wide, stunned that anyone would dare challenge her authority. What happened next still feels unreal. Karen stormed over to our equipment, grabbed my impact driver, and hurled it into the street. Then she reached for the nail gun, my forearm, and Tom leapt up to stop her before she destroyed anything more expensive, which only sent her into a full-blown frenzy. "Don't you dare touch me," she howled, flinging smaller tools into the road. "This is assault. I'll call 911. Looking back, I should have recognized the warning signs from day one. Karen Westfield, the self-proclaimed most important person in Sunnyside Estates, had hired my contracting company for our reputation for top-tier work. The job seemed simple enough. Renovate her backyard patio with premium materials to make it the envy of the neighborhood. The generous price should have been my first red flag. From the moment we arrived on day one, Karen treated my crew like personal servants rather than trained professionals. She barked orders about where to put our equipment, questioned our expertise at every turn, and hovered so close that my tile specialist, Miguel, almost collided with her 3 different times. She constantly changed her mind about materials we'd already purchased, demanding exchanges without caring about restocking FEs. She'd look over our work and say things like, "My 10-year-old could do better than that," with a dismissive sneer. Each morning, she greeted us with a fresh list of complaints and extra tasks nowhere in the contract. "While you're here, you might as well fix my garden lights too," she'd say with a wave. "Consider it a courtesy to the HOA president who approves all contractor permits in this neighborhood." When I politely reminded her that additional tasks required additional payment, she scoffed. "Do you know how many contractors would kill for my recommendation? I can make or break your business in this community." The working conditions deteriorated rapidly. Karen refused to provide bathroom access, forcing my crew to use the gas station 2 blocks away. She followed workers around, criticizing their techniques and accusing them of dragging their feet to inflate her bill. Worst of all, she began skipping scheduled payments, insisting she'd pay only when fully satisfied, even though our contract listed a clear payment timeline. After 1 week of this behavior, crew was nearing their breaking point. Tom suggested we walk away, but I was reluctant to abandon a job mid-project. Then came the lunch break incident that pushed us over the edge. As Karen ranted about our supposed laziness and incompetence, she escalated to outright lies. "I saw one of your men sneaking around my garage earlier," she said, jabbing a finger at Miguel. "What did he steal?" "I demandado check all your vehicles immediately." When I refused to let her search our personal property without cause, she yanked out her phone. "That's it. You're all trespassing now. You're squatting on my property and refusing to leave." She dialed 911 with dramatic flair, putting the call on speaker so we could hear her performance. "Emergency, please help," she whimpered, suddenly sounding nothing like the woman who had been screaming moments earlier. "There are men at my house who won't leave. I feel threatened. They're damaging my property and refusing to go. Please hurry." The transformation was unbelievable, raging tyrant to trembling victim in seconds. My crew and I exchanged looks of disbelief as she spun a completely false narrative to the dispatcher. We stayed calm, gathered our belongings, and carefully documented the condition of the half-finished project with our phones. I had a feeling we'd need proof later. 2 police officers arrived within minutes. Officer Martinez and Officer Dawson approached cautiously, clearly expecting a hostile situation based on Karen's call. Karen rushed toward them, tears streaming, either real or incredibly convincing. "These men have been threatening me all morning," she said in a trembling voice. "They damaged my original patio on purpose, so I'd have to pay for more work. And now, they're refusing to finish unless I pay them double our agreement." Officer Martinez looked over at my crew, 5 professional-looking men standing quietly by our trucks, then back at Karen. "Ma'am, can you show me where the damage is?" he asked, as Karen guided them around, pointing dramatically at the normal demolition work that happens during any renovation. I quietly showed Officer Dawson our contract, complete with Karen's signature, along with time-stamped photos documenting our progress, exactly as the approved plans required. I also showed him text messages where Karen demanded changes without wanting to pay for them, plus videos of her throwing our tools into the street minutes earlier. His expression shifted as he scrolled through the evidence. "How long have you been working with this client?" he asked softly. 8 days, I replied, "and we've documented everything since day 3, when the problems began." When Karen returned with Officer Martinez, still mid-performance about our supposed incompetence and threats, Officer Dawson cleared his throat. "Ma'am, I reviewed documentation that contradicts your statements. This appears to be a contract dispute rather than a criminal situation." Karen's theatrical FOD vanished instantly. "What documentation? What did they show you?" "Whatever it is, it's obviously manipulated. Do you know who I am? I'm the president of the Sunnyside Estates HOA. I can have your supervisor on the phone with one call." That was the moment I knew without a doubt that we were finished with this job. I calmly informed Karen that we would be terminating our contract under the harassment clause paragraph 6, which she had violated multiple times. We would remove our materials and equipment, and she would receive an itemized bill for the work completed so far. The look of disbelief on her face was almost comedic. "You can't quit. You work for me. I'll make sure you never get another job in this county." As we loaded our trucks under the watchful eyes of the officers, neighbors began emerging from their homes, drawn by the commotion. Sensing her reputation slipping, Karen loudly claimed she had fired us for substandard work. But the neighbors had seen the police cars, and some had witnessed her throwing our tools earlier. One brave soul, an older gentleman named Frank from across the street, approached Officer Martinez. "If you need any information about how Karen treats service people, my security cameras have captured quite a bit over the years," he said quietly, but loud enough for nearby ears. "And I'm not the only one with documentation." The following weeks unleashed a flood of revelations about Karen's reign of terror as HOA president. After filing our civil complaint for breach of contract and harassment, we discovered we weren't alone. A social media post about our experience opened the floodgates. Landscapers, plumbers, roofers, and even the community pool maintenance company came forward with similar stories of bullying, withheld payments, and threats about their licenses and future work in the neighborhood. More troubling were the stories from homeowners. Cindy from 2 doors down shared that Karen threatened to put a lien on her house over unapproved garden gnomes. The Williams family had been fined repeatedly for invisible infractions whenever they voted against Karen's proposals. Multiple residents reported that Karen frequently used her master key to enter homes for inspections when owners were away. The turning point came when a former HOA treasurer named David provided police with financial records showing discrepancies in the association's accounts. Karen had been approving payments to vendors who had actually performed work on her personal property, not community spaces. She had also forged approval signatures for her home improvement projects, including our patio renovation, to bypass the same permit process she weaponized against others. Police expanded the investigation, obtaining warrants to examine bank records and HOA documents. Within 3 weeks, Karen was arrested at an HOA meeting where, ironically, she had been arguing for stricter penalties against homeowners who violated contractual agreements. The charges included fraud, embezzlement, forgery, intimidation, and misappropriation of community funds totaling over $68,000. The courtroom was packed for Karen's sentencing hearing 2 months later. The judge, visibly disturbed by the scope of her schemes, handed down a 3-year sentence, 1 year in county jail and 2 years on probation. She was also ordered to pay restitution of $112,000 to the HOA and affected homeowners, plus court costs. When the sentence was announced, Karen's face twisted with outrage. "This is ridiculous," she shouted as officers approached to take her into custody. "Don't you people understand? I was improving our community. I was raising our property values." Her voice cracked as the truth finally set in. "Who's going to run the HOA without me? These people don't know what they're doing." Those were her final words before being led out of the courtroom, still convinced she was the victim of a conspiracy against her authority.